Muddy Boots is proudly sponsored by Clyde Compost, the premium compost trusted by gardeners who want results. Packed with goodness, free from nasties, and perfect for healthy soil and thriving plants. Visit clydecompost.com and don't forget to tell Vince, Keith
and Elizabeth sent them.
Another month has passed in a hurry, as always, and here we are again at Q&A time. This month we have a wide variety of questions, so stay with us and let's get started with number 1. Okay, up first, 2 questions are from Catherine. Question number 1 for Keith. I live in Tyres in Victoria and would like to ask your advice on what I can plant under some large trees in a specific area of my garden. This area gets just a little morning sun. And Catherine has actually sent through some photos to Keith of this area of the garden.
Yep.
So, what do you say?
All right. I would strongly suggest that you look at native plants for this particular aspect. The trees that are in that photograph are actually Melaleuca armillaris, and that is a very, very difficult plant to actually grow in underneath. That used to be a plant that was put into the medium strips along freeways, but became so big and problematic and weedy, got very, very weedy, that they actually pulled them out and actually classified them as a noxious weed here in Victoria. So what I would suggest you do is I will send you a list of plants that will tolerate dry shade of various heights. So that would be my solution to that. Too many plants to mention at the moment, but I'll send you a list, Catherine, and you can go through and have a look at those and see which ones you recommend, or I recommend.
Persevere with the tree, obviously. I mean, she has to because it's big.
Exactly.
Okay. Next question from Catherine. I planted a passion fruit on my back fence a little while ago. I thought it would be an appropriate spot even though a possum lives in the tree above. I heard you mention in a previous podcast that possums don't eat passion fruit leaves, but unfortunately my passion fruit leaves have been completely demolished. Could it be something other than a possum that has eaten these leaves?
It could very well be a rat, a native rat. And the reason I say that is I have a friend who visited recently with exactly the same problem, and they discovered that it was a native rat that was eating them. The thing about passion fruit is that they become somewhat dormant during the cooler months, which was when this was noticed.
Yeah.
So therefore, the leaves that they're producing are not producing cyanide. When they're fully growing during the warmer, more temperate time of the year, that is when they're active in terms of producing cyanide, and that will stop them eating. But it could be native rats as well as possums that would chew them. So I would just wait and be patient, just see what happens as the growing season comes. But don't look at that damage that's been done as a negative, because passion fruit should be all cut back by a third during the dormant period anyway. So the possum may have just done
doing
you a
the
favour.
job.
Yep.
Doing like your possum is eating your orange.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd get some cyanide on that one.
Okay, we now have a question from Karen. Can you trim magnolia trees, and if so, when is the best time and how much should be trimmed? I thought that I had read that they shouldn't be trimmed at all.
Well, I don't know what you read, but I certainly disagree with that. You can actually prune any tree as long as you know what you are doing and when you do it. And magnolias are absolutely no exception. They can be pruned to shape and reduced for height purposes. You can remove any crowding branch or crossovers of the branches. That's one of the first things you're looking for. Dead wooding and removal of the spent flowers. That's also an important thing. And always prune to an outward growing bud and prune to the desired shape. And you treat this the same as you would if it was a dormant tree. But what you can do, if you, for instance, what I notice about magnolias is that even the one that became so fashionable, which was either teddy bear or little gem,
yep.
which I just don't like at all, because they start off nice and bushy and thick down the bottom, but they are always looking to get up for the best deal for them, which is up higher. So you get these branches dropping off from the bottom and getting up to the top. So what you can do is take the top out of them at a certain height and then go back down to the bottom of the tree and look for the node and make a small incision above the node, cutting out the cambium layer and the so that the actual sap goes to the bud and will turn that bud on. So you can thicken those plants up. I've done quite a few Instagram posts on this. So if you
follow
if you don't know what you're doing or you want to know a bit more about it, just send me a message on Instagram and I'll show you that exact
process. The next question is from Mel. She says, I've recently been given some great soil from my parents' calf shed, but unfortunately I found a block of rat bait in the soil. Is it still safe to use on my vegetable garden because it feels like such a waste of good quality soil?
Hi, Melissa. Look, the nasty chemicals in the rat bait are contained within the block and do not leach out. Otherwise, they would be in our waterways. So that's one thing. The chemicals work once they are ingested. So don't ingest them. Remove it and bin it and enjoy the beautiful soil. Try using some go-go juice to inoculate the soil with the beneficial bacteria, and that will really turn that into a fabulous, beautiful organic soil. So use and enjoy.
Fantastic.
And don't worry about the rat block.
Good. Jodie is next with her question. She says, Keith talks about Brix levels in the plants that produce an edible crop, but is the high Brix level also a pest deterrent in ornamentals such as roses? I know I can use chemicals or eco-neem to control the aphids and little black beetles, but I'm wanting something that won't interfere with my distillation of the roses to produce rose waters and maybe some oils. I don't really want to distill roses with the bugs or confidor in them or even the neem. Aside from buying a whole load of ladybirds and bugs, what other natural processes can be utilised? I have loads of other good bug and bee attracting plants, including open flowers, etc. in the mixed borders. I'm also about to install a beehive in my veggie garden site, as I know the good pollen producing plants are essential to them.
Well, that's there's a few little things in that one there, Jodie. When I discuss Brix levels, which is the measurement of sugar in plants, I often refer to David Hall, who was an esteemed author on soil health, as well as being a farmer and practitioner. He wrote a little book called Soils or Spoils, and he notes this: if the sugar and mineral levels are high enough, insects will not attack those plants. This is why many of our organic friends struggle with producing insect damage-free produce. They often fail to realise that achieving success requires a balance of all elements, and they ultimately face the consequences of weed and insect damage. Hall further explains that plants grown in rich, fertile soils with all necessary nutrients available will not attract insects and will outgrow weeds. These plants are not only having a delight to the taste buds, but will also have an extended shelf life. Therefore, a well-balanced soil high in compost and rock minerals creates the perfect conditions for successful plant growth in all aspects. So I think that covers that one off in one hit. So
Jodie.
The higher the Brix level in the plant, the less pest and disease that you'll have.
Fantastic.
So there you go.
Okay, time for Diane's question now. I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland and have a grapefruit tree which was transplanted about 35 years ago. It fruits all the time. The juice is not very sour and I enjoy having one every morning. My children cut branches every now and again, but I'm scared to trim it. What would you suggest? Some of the fruit has weighed up to 1.5 kilos.
Oh, that's big fruit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Huge.
It's a lot to eat.
Sounds perfect. Sweet and perfect.
Okay,
and
so
big.
Citrus trees are grown on grafted rootstock, and that rootstock is generally only productive for between 10 to 20 years. In your case, may I suggest that you cut the tree in half by removing one side of the tree to try and reinvigorate new growth.
The other. Yeah.
This will shock the tree and it will put enormous amounts of growth into the fruit and the produce and new branches. If this happens, then repeat this treatment on the other side of the tree next year. And I hope this helps with your question. You just got to be game. You just got to get in there with a saw and a prune and just
back,
do it.
as Keith does.
They're incredibly tough plants.
Well, thank you for that, Keith. Great advice. Good luck with that one. That was Diane. Thank you, Diane. Sorry. Okay, we're now going to have a moment for an ad for our sponsor, one of our sponsors, BioStim. Healthy soil means healthy plants, and that's where BioStim's MycoGold comes in. This powerful blend of beneficial fungi and bacteria works underground to extend root systems, helping plants to take up more water and nutrients, fight off pests and disease, and cope better during periods of drought. Just add MycoGold when planting or mix it in around your established plants, and you will be setting your garden up for success. Discover more at biostim.com.au.
It is a brilliant product in every one of my landscape designs. It is part of the specifications on that, and it's a no-brainer. If you don't do it, you've got rocks in your head. It's a fabulous
rock dust,
fabulous product to be using.
It is. I've just been using it. I ran out, sadly, and so then I kept planting, and then thought, oh well, I can still pour it. I can still sprinkle it over the top.
Yep.
Won't be quite as
it'll work its way down in the ground.
It'll get down there. Yeah. But it's fantastic stuff.
Yep.
Okay, now we have a question from Victoria. May I ask if you know much about permafert? My husband and I moved from WA to Ballarat last year, and I've been creating a garden from scratch, which had previously been badly neglected due to the property being a rental. My neighbour told me to generously apply permafert as a soil top dress and also at planting time. I'd never heard of it before and haven't heard you mention it on your podcast. I thought I'd ask if you would recommend it along with other fabulous organic products such as those from Nutrog. Thank you both for your time and for providing such a brilliant podcast. I love muddy boots. That's very kind of you, Victoria.
It is indeed. I had a little bit of a look online about this particular product, and I can't see any problems with it. It's not using green household waste, so that's one positive tick. And it looks like it's a nice looking product. So if you've got neighbours and friends that have used it, then keep on going for it. And I think it's a great little idea.
What is it? It's a top dress, but what is it? A mulch?
It's a composted.
Compost.
It's a composted form. So unlike some of the stuff that we get from our local suppliers around here, which is an organic soil mix, which is actually all from green garden waste that's collected by the councils, that has some of it's got a pH of over 9. It's doing nothing for the soil. But this, as I said, the research that I had a look at this and the questions that I asked of the proprietor, I think this is as good a product as they can get over there. So go for it.
Fantastic.
For sure.
Okay.
There's going to be products that we recommend all the time, like Clyde Compost, that you can't get everywhere. And it's nice to get feedback from people who listen here who have got these products, that have tried these products, and give us the feedback on it so that whenever we get a question again next time, we can answer them and say, look, this person's tried this and this product from here, go for it.
Hopefully she can get Clyde Compost in Ballarat, though.
Well, she should be able to.
But anyway,
and maybe give it a bit of a comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Try different products in different areas of the garden, perhaps. Okay, Helen has the next question. She says, I've planted many fruit trees in my back garden due to you guys inspiring me. Is it at all detrimental to the trees if I underplant with vegetables, things like lettuce, parsley and radishes? We talked about this a bit earlier.
Yeah, we did.
We
did. The thing about planting something underneath a fruit tree is that it is competing for the goodness that's in the soil. That's the first thing you've got to remember. As long as you're adding goodness all the time, then it's not going to be as much of a problem. But generally, I prefer, where I can, to have those sorts of things in their own specified areas. Yep. Now, if you haven't got an area that you can utilise that, then think outside the square and maybe think either about a pot, growing things in a pot, or even in the Green Smart self-watering wicking beds. They're a great little unit. They're
You'll have to
compact.
tell us a bit more about those because I don't know about those.
Well, I've just purchased. I introduced these to the Diggers Club many years ago, and we got it Diggers branded. and what it is the girls in the retail the girls in the dispatch used to call them babies' baths because that's what they look like. Look like a baby's bath, the size and everything else.
Yeah.
So what it is it has an area underneath a flat tray that is just full of water, and it sits on these legs that go into that water that is filled up with potting mix. So therefore, that's the wicking system. Is through those legs in the bottom, and then you fill that up with a quality potting mix. And I've just recently done a post on the potting mix that I use, which is a beautiful organic potting mix that I've mixed lots and lots of Clyde compost into it, about 20% Clyde compost into the mix, and Monash rock dust. Yep. And then churn that all the way through so it's thoroughly mixed, and then I filled the actual thing right up to the top with that medium. And then you water from the top when you put your plants in. You water from the top, and you fill the reservoir from the top to the bottom, not filling it up from the side. Right. So you know that soil is wetted all the way through, and then that will wick itself. In hot weather, it'll maintain the soil moisture level. And on the side of the actual Green Smart bin is a little funnel that you top up the water level with that you can actually see what the level is,
and you know
in that reservoir.
And suppose you know where to fill it up to make sure it's doing its thing. If it's empty, then obviously you need to.
Then you need to fill it up. Yeah. So it's a beautiful, simple self-wicking system. So I'm growing lots and lots of ginger in mine this year and turmeric.
Okay.
Giving that a go in them.
And you would suggest to Helen that she could probably put a fruit tree in there? Are you talking about putting her vegetables in there?
Yeah, you could put all your vegetables in there. You can grow all those sorts of things in those sorts of beds rather than having it compete in the soil for where your actual fruit trees are.
Okay. There you go, Helen. Hope she appreciates that response. The next question is from Jeff, and this is a bit of an unusual one. He says, I'm in Adelaide, South Australia, and have made up a cow manure liquid consisting of soaked manure for 3 weeks to make a solution. It has been brewing in an old brewing container for over 3 months, and while I've heard this is good for plants, my question is, what is it suitable for? I'm a bit nervous to use it on veggies, so seek your thoughts. I've heard I can dilute it to a tea appearance to use on the plants, but don't want to undo all the good work I've achieved with my garden. I've also added some gigantic fertiliser pellets as well as a dash of sea salt to the solution. Please advise if this is likely to be safe on veggies or whether I'd be better using it elsewhere.
Believe it or not, this process was something that my mum and dad used to do. I had an auntie up in Whittlesea who had a 200-acre farm up there, and it was all cows on it. So they used to go up there and walk around and collect bags of cow manure, and then they'd bring that back home, and then they would empty it into a big drum and fill it up with water and let it just seep there, just sit there for a few weeks. Yeah. The thing about cow manure is that it doesn't. The cow is not like us. It's got numerous stomachs. So the food goes through numerous stomachs. So if they've eaten weed seeds or whatever else, those things are totally dead by the time they come out its bum.
The end,
Yep. So it is a beautiful organic product to use, and it is a very gentle organic manure that you can actually use. It's absolutely brilliant for for your garden bed. It's not going to burn the plants, and it's really readily absorbed by the soil biota and converted into plant food. So just go for it any way you want. You can't hurt the plants because it is natural.
Fantastic.
I don't see the need for you to have to add things like sea salt or even the gigantic in that liquid form. Use the gigantic after you've planted and use the sea salt after you've planted. And just remember, Jeff, that sea salt is not a food, it is a tonic. It's not going to feed your plant, it's going to help your plant with cell structure and cell division.
Yep, okay.
So
fantastic.
There you go.
Well done. Our last question for this month's Q&A is from Wendy, who says that she has a rather cheeky question to ask. Here it comes. I tinker around in our front garden a lot while just over our fence the neighbour's grass is left to grow, often taller than our fence. The community seed garden had free seeds, so when no one was looking, I threw them over the fence hoping at least one of the seeds would take. But no. It didn't happen. Would you happen to know of a suitable seed that I could throw over the fence and that would flourish, and I can be looking at flowers? She'd be looking at flowers then.
That would be very
The
attractive.
neighbours probably wouldn't care.
I think we could probably encourage this process, Wendy, to be done on all the state government police stations at the moment, where they don't have money to maintain the grass, and there's a lot of these police stations that the grass is shoulder height.
Oh,
you know, it's just a real shame. Look, thanks for coming on board with us and with Muddy Boots, and thanks for bringing Mum as well.
Oh, that's right, Mum. That's right. She did say Mum, who's a long-time gardener.
So that's fantastic.
To the show.
I would be looking for some packets of Wildflower. So you can get those from the seed collection, the Diggers Club, and whatever else. So I would be getting those and distribute them over the property. And this is best done because these wildflowers are adapted to growing on the ground. That's where they germinate and start. Wildflowers, either native or introduced, will self-seed. So you've got this continuing process happening all the time. And they'll flower for many, many months, and they attract beautiful, beneficial insects as well as the predators, and are great for the neighbourhood and the environment. As I said, there's lots and lots of companies that actually sell these packets of Wildflower.
They do.
And I said, it's just as easy as getting on the fence and chucking. Yeah, just throw them. And you'll be amazed.
Beautiful meadow. Your
at
neighbours will be very lucky. They have a lovely wildflower meadow.
Absolutely.
How lucky are they? Okay, well, that is it. Except we've got to do the prize winner for this month's Q&A. So that's what we need to do now. This month, the prize goes to Catherine with the passion fruit plant muncher, which she wasn't sure whether it was a possum or we thought might be a rat. Mm-hmm. So we hope that that's all been sorted out and you can now enjoy your lovely present from the Plant Runner. So we will definitely be in contact with you soon, Catherine. Thank you for that. And thank you to everyone again for their fantastic questions. We also need to thank the team at the Plant Runner for supplying the monthly Q&A prize. So please don't forget to go to theplantrunner.com for all your indoor plant care needs. Thanks again and happy gardening. Thank you for listening to Muddy Boots. For more information on today's podcast, please go to muddyboots.net.au and happy gardening.